The war between the three local media giants and the Kenyan government is headed to the international scene. In a letter addressed to the Attorney General, the Minister for Information and the Director General of the Communication Authority of Kenya, lead counsel Paul Mwite stated, and I quote, "Our clients are going international, having exhausted domestic jurisdiction following the incomprehensible findings of the Supreme Court on the issue of intellectual property rights." End of quote. In essence, the three leading media houses will be bringing to the attention of the 93 state parties of the World Intellectual Property Organization Copyright Treaty their complaint of blatant violation of their intellectual property rights. Question is, why do the media houses accuse the government of authorizing the violation of their intellectual property rights? Mwite explains that the Communication Authority of Kenya allowed foreign TV broadcasters to operate in the country on condition that they also carried the free-to-air content produced by local TV stations. In its wisdom, the authority listed Citizen TV, KTN and NTV among the must-carry channels, ostensibly based on their stations having the largest coverage. In a letter dated 3rd December 2014, however, the Communication Authority revised its own directive and advised the pay TV broadcasters to obtain consent from the content producers for must-carry channels included in their pay bouquet.
That permission has not been provided for them to carry our content. The letter we got from StarTimes was to say, guys, we shall carry you. That is not really a language for somebody seeking your authority. And even when they were writing that letter, they continued to carry our content on the air.
What's more, whenever consumers fail to pay a monthly subscription fee to the pay TV broadcasters, they lose access even to their free-to-air channels as well. Pay TVs, Mwite's letter reads in part, charge their viewers handsomely for what they have pirated without paying for it. The three media houses say this continued violation of their copyrights and intellectual property rights is unacceptable. Mwite indicates that Citizen TV, KTN, NTV and QTV will notify the Intellectual Property Rights Secretariat headquartered in Paris, France, of their grievance unless violation of their copyrights and intellectual property rights cease forthwith and an appropriate Kenya Gazette notice published within 14 days. Mwite further indicates in the letter that the three media houses will also consider filing for compensation following the violation of their copyrights. Substantial damages from you, jointly and severally, will be sought in the intended proceedings, the letter reads in part. The media houses also find it unjust for the government to allocate StarTimes, the Chinese-owned pay television, and Pang, a Chinese company, 120 digital frequencies.
And what is even more insulting, if you like, is that the frequencies given to the tax-funded KBC, because Signet is a subsidiary of KBC. Those are the frequencies that KBC Signet has added over to GoTV and Matichoice, funded by taxpayers' money.
The free-to-air local media houses, on the other hand, have only been allocated 21 digital frequencies, which can only cover half the country.
Where else in this country or anywhere else in the world do you find a foreign company coming and being given close to 60% of all the frequencies in the country, which is a public resource? Where? How? If you went to China, you think you would get that kind of license?
The three media houses have been treated very, very unfairly for whatever reason. It is like there is a policy to push Kenya towards pay televisions. These three media houses are relied upon by those wananchi in the countryside who cannot afford to pay the monthly fees that are charged by pay televisions.
The Attorney General, the government's principal legal advisor, Mwite says, has spectacularly failed to advise the government on this matter. Additionally, the three media houses have filed a response to CAK's letter alleging, among other things, that they had refused to air digital migration-related adverts generated by GoTV and StarTimes. Nation Media Group Chairman Wilfred Kiboro states on behalf of the media owners that as a matter of principle and common sense, we have every right to reject their advertisements that are premised on continued violation of our intellectual property rights. Sylvia Tibet, Citizen Weekend.